Had something on my mind. I want to get straight into it. Let's talk about companies. Let's talk about jobs again. Something that I've been seeing, and I know this has been a prevalent problem for many years, especially since we've shifted towards this whole like online job application thing where your job application goes through an AI program that picks up on keywords. For a lot of companies, use this sort of technology in order to better determine who actually gets picked for an interview. Because, in today's world, a lot of companies are getting so many applications that they just don't have the time, or at least that's what they say. They don't have the time to actually read through everybody's application. And so what's happening is a lot of people are submitting applications, and if they don't have the right keywords in the application, they're not going to get selected. Problem comes in when a company, they post a job opening for a job where the company is actually not hiring for it, but they're only like collecting resumes. And so effectively, what I've heard a lot about a lot of companies that do this, they'll collect the resume, they'll bring somebody in for an interview, knowing good and well that, and or sometimes they won't even bring them in for an interview. It's basically just collect a bunch of resumes, put a job application, put a job opening out. And, they're really only doing this to make it seem like the company is growing or that they're expanding. And it's like they're really not, so that they can claim, like, oh, we have all these openings, we're expanding, we're growing. They can kind of put that out as like a PR type thing. It's not true. It's not true. They're not hiring. They're not hiring. I know this happens a lot in like corporate America. I don't know about like other industries, but corporate jobs, from what I've heard, they do this a lot. They'll put out some sort of like job opening, and it's like they're not even hiring for it. It's like they're okay with essentially wasting people's time, having people do resumes and, create cover sheets. What do you call it? Is it called a cover sheet? Or what do you call that? The little, I guess, personalized cover sheet or whatever you call it that you fill out, that you do for job applications. You got people doing all that for a job where like there's no chance that they're actually even going to get interviews. So like I say, it comes back to that ethics and morals thing. They're okay with wasting people's time, and we know it's wrong to just waste people's time, but the corporation doesn't care. And this is what happens when we live in a in this sort of society where um, we are, you know, told like, hey, we have to do this, do that, get this sort of job, do this. You gotta create a create, just do all this stuff in order to try and get an interview. But it's like, in reality, there's no chance you're getting that interview because they don't even have the job open. And it's like, it's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate that, this is what we're seeing out here. Um, I'm pretty sure plenty of the Fortune 500 companies do it because they're the ones that want to promote the idea that they're growing, and they just want to have a whole bunch of resumes to pick from. you know a year, 2, 3 years from now, when by that time most of the people will be done found like another job already. And and it's funny because that actually happened with me. I applied to this job like maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and they just now called me like last week, and I didn't even respond back because it's like, what's the point of like calling me 5 months later? Like, of course I found something else. Like, you might as well not even call me 5 months later, because to me, after 3 or 4 weeks, I'm like, okay, I didn't get the job, you know. And the thing is, most places will say if you don't get a call back, you can reapply again after 60 days or like after 90 days or whatever. So it's like, what's the point of calling me back like 5 months later? Like, I don't get that. And it's just, that's what we have to deal with. That's what we're faced with in this sort of, you know, in this society. Jobs. Jobs are just not the job search, the way that people get jobs nowadays. I just don't like it. I don't like that you submit an application and your resume is like going through like this whole algorithm thing, before it's even seen by somebody. Back in the day, you went inside, you got a resume, and you filled out a paper resume. Nowadays, it's just not like that. And this was being phased out, like, even because there was still places that used like paper applications, um, as recently as 2015. Because I remember I applied to, I want to say this was back in like 2015, when I was first looking for a job back in 2015. I applied for, I think it was CC's Pizza, and I had to fill out a paper application. I actually remember, yeah, I filled out a paper application. I'm pretty sure CC's Pizza doesn't do that anymore. I could be wrong, but I like that because it's like, okay, you're kind of like, unless you're running it through a scanner that can pick up on words, you kind of have to like read the person's application. Like, you can't just run it through some AI that can pick up on keywords. And so that's why I actually prefer that method. um Speaking of jobs, it's funny. I still remember applying to like Buffalo Wild Wings, and I went to the interview. I don't even remember what position I applied for, but the 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 person interviewing me was like, if you're, are you gonna be okay with like cleaning toilets and stuff like that? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And then they told me the job paid like $7.25 an hour, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And they gave me all these like scenario type questions. Oh, if somebody does this, what would you do? If somebody did this, what would you do? And I mean, we're talking a job that paid federal minimum wage, $7.25 an hour. Um, I think maybe it was for like a busser. I think Like basically the person that like cleans up the tables after people eat and like cleans the tables and stuff, and basically that type of position. And um I actually didn't even get that job. I kind of laugh about it now because, you know, it's just the whole interview process, man. It can just be kind of funny to me, but yeah, I didn't even get that job. So, you know, kind of wasting my time with that. And we're talking about a job that was 7.25 an hour. A job where I'm going in the they're telling me to go to the bathroom and scrub toilets, you know. I'm like, how do I not get that job? But I just, and that job was one of those ones where I had to like apply online and everything. And I think that job, I mean, it was pretty straightforward, but you know, it's like but that kind of just leads me back to the whole just job application process. It's pretty flawed to me. It's just not. I just don't care for it. I'm kind of glad that I have what would be considered a good job now that actually like pays decent, because man, it's been rough, like, you know, looking for jobs and everything. But you know, the job market, man, it's just, and the things that corporations and companies do, like I say, posting jobs that don't exist, collecting resumes, literally interviewing people, knowing that, oh, and this here's another thing, they'll interview somebody that um, they know that they're not going to give the job to because they already know who they're going to hire, but their HR policy, you know, whatever silly policy they have, states that they have to interview people even if they already know who they're going to hire. So their policy states that they're okay with wasting your time. No, and it's yeah, yeah. It's kind of crazy. You just think about some of these like tactics and stunts these places pull, and you know, you're just happy when you get in at a good company. That's all I'll say. Because the whole interview process, the recruiting process, recruiters ghosting you, that's another problem too. You'll be working with a recruiter, and then another problem too. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of like, I'm forming multiple thoughts at once. Let me recruiters, you'll be working with a recruiter, they'll ghost you, and you done did like two, three, sometimes four interviews, and they won't even say anything back. They won't even have the respect to tell you, even though you wasted your gas going up to and from there four times. They won't have the respect to tell you, like, hey, you didn't get the job. Here are a few pointers. I think you should give a candidate pointers if you didn't interviewed them three or four times, like things to improve on. But ghosting after three interviews, yeah, you're somebody that's okay with wasting people's time then. Three, four interviews and you ghosted. It's just it's just unbelievable, some of the stuff I see some of these corporations do. You know, if you're gonna interview somebody three times, but then you're not gonna hire them, I mean, at least give them some pointers. I don't care for that. I just don't care for that. I'm just glad I'm not in the corporate world. I'm just glad I'm in trucking. Trucking, you're not gonna go through like three or four interviews with all of these like different scenario based questions and stuff. Like, you're not gonna go through that. in trucking. That's why I don't think any trade in general, in trades, they just want somebody that has the knowledge of the job and that's willing to work. You don't have to have all these, you know, it's just, I don't know. It's just different in trucking. That's why I'm not in the corporate world, because I don't think I'd ever get a job. So yeah, that's all I had. I hope y'all enjoyed y'all's weekend. Like I say, sometime I just turn this camera on because I'll just have like a lot of stuff on my mind, and I have to kind of just vent it out just to you all. And like I say, I appreciate each and every one of you all who are watching these videos, liking, sharing, subscribing. I appreciate it. Leaving comments. I appreciate it. Because without you all, there wouldn't be this channel. So yeah, that's about it for this video. Trying to think, is there anything else that I want to bring up before I close this video? No. Well, with that, tomorrow's Monday. You're gonna get through Monday. You're gonna get through Tuesday. You're gonna get through Wednesday. You're gonna get through Thursday. You're gonna get through Friday. I ought to make some like positive affirmations videos. I don't know why I can't talk, but I ought to make some positive affirmation videos, because I think we kind of need them out here. A lot of depression, a lot of sadness, a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress out here. I might make one of those type videos in the near future. Thinking maybe I can just give somebody out there that's watching a little bit of encouragement. And so stay tuned for that. But with that, thanks for watching, and have a great evening and great week.